Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm just a casual racer, and this is the next video covering the Portugal Openworld project we're working on over at Authentic Simulation. And in this video we're going to be taking an early preview look at the AI traffic we're working on at this point. You're going to notice a lot of the cars are white. We just have to get the simple code in to get the colors, but like I said, this is an early preview. You might also notice some wonky things with the cars or the map. And that's one reason why we're doing a Kickstarter, right? This is a massive project. It's not something that's unusual to us. I mean, I noticed a few comments. You know, we got so many comments in our last video. It was crazy. It's the best performing video I've ever made. Kind of just surprised me. So people are really excited about this project, which is awesome. And I feel confident we'll be able to hit our $50,000 fundraising goal. But that's why we need to do the Kickstarter, right? A project of this scope, which in this initial section is going to have 500 kilometers of road or more, is going to require funding to speed it up. This project is going to happen. And then, of course, we're going to have Kickstarter goals to make this even bigger. You know, this could easily end up being one of the largest open world projects ever made. Obviously, depends how you measure. If you're counting proc gen and you're not counting the road network, which is what I would measure by, but you want just a huge surface area with very few roads, then yes, there'll be bigger maps. But in terms of road area, you know, depending on our funding goals, we could be one of the largest, and for sure we're going to be the largest Assetto Corsa open world map, and that is without a doubt. And so if you support us, one thing too I want to clarify is you will get, weave around there, semi or car stopped right there, but I love this shot you're going to see coming here. You can look down, some great views as we go down the mountainside over the shoreline. But this is, Assetto Corsa is something that we have a broad experience in. This isn't really like a scam or anything like that. That's one reason why we wanted to get so much of the initial groundwork laid and a whole section of road that I'm driving on, you know, fleshed out with details, because that's going to be provided to everyone who backs the Kickstarter from day one. So essentially, the moment the Kickstarter launches to the end will be where the promotional period is. And then once the Kickstarter ends, you will get immediate access to the entire map as it is, and then depending obviously like on our funding goals and things like that, that's going to be like the additional perks, how big the future scope of the map will be, you know, how can we bring on a couple more artists that will allow us to speed up production. And you know, right now we're looking at bi-weekly updates that we'll post for you guys to, who are, you know, support us. But if, you know, we get a lot of good funding, can we do weekly updates, that type of thing, where you'll get a new map every week? Those are the type of things that we want to do with this project, and there's no doubt in my mind we're going to deliver an Assetto Corsa map. It's just how incredible is this map ultimately going to end up being? That's where the Kickstarter comes in. How quickly will we reach our goals? That's where the Kickstarter comes in. And then from your perspective, if you're backing us, you know, we're looking at just under $20 actually. I think $17.99 is kind of what we're thinking for kind of the entry-level tier, where you'll get access to the map. And depending on what funding goals we hit, 50,000 for example, then you will get 3 months of membership included, and you will get some other perks included as well, including a certain discount on all future subscriptions. Because we are, for the server, we are going to have a subscription system, something like $10, $20 a year, not a month, is what we're looking at for the subscription for the server. Because obviously there's going to be a lot of ongoing costs. There's going to be people who want to support and get access to this, so there will be some subscription with that. But if you just want to go online, we'll also have option, or play offline with the map. We'll also have like one-time purchase options, or at the very least you could just purchase 1 year subscription, download the map, then at the end of that time you don't have to continue subscribe. This isn't like tied to some subscription only thing or internet only verification. We're not doing anything like that. Around the traffic here, work our way down through this valley. And then, touch that car there for a second. And then, you know, long term, right, or if the thing goes viral, you know, and then the different funding tiers, right? So from your perspective, there'll be options, get a custom house, which might be around $100, entirely like custom in every aspect. There's going to be like a mailbox tier where you get your name on a mailbox on a house somewhere on the map, which you can call your house. That's obviously going to be a much cheaper tier. I think they're looking at like $40 for that. $100 if you want a custom house. There's going to be some options for, like, if you just want the front of a business, where essentially downtown where they'll just be like business fronts, you want like the brand name on there, there'll be ways to support there. And then all the way up to more expensive tiers for several $100s or even several $1,000s for like your own custom standalone business, or where it's like an individual building, think of like a Starbucks or McDonald's or a shopping plaza. Or do you want something interactive? And that's going to be a couple thousand. Like we're actually talking with one prospective sponsor already. So I'm just sitting there in traffic, getting way too immersed. We have one prospective sponsor who's already wants to do bring their auto shop into the game and have like a drift circuit where you'll drift at one point through the garage. Let's get around these cars here. And that's going to be really cool. And like custom things like that obviously are going to be more expensive, but they're also going to be limited. We can only include so many on the map, and they will be massive focal points that if you have a business or a brand, or you just want something really cool created on the map, we will make that happen. And it'll be similar to like ordering a track from us or whatever. And I think the exposure will be tremendous if that's something that you're interested in. So definitely some ways that we're going to try to raise money being creative. And then, of course, for you guys, when it reaches certain funding tiers, like let's say we hit 60,000, well, then we're going to look at, you're going to get 6 months included of access for everyone who supports for free. If we hit 70,000, you're going to get 9 months. If we hit 80,000, you'll get a year. And then there'll be additional tiers and that allow for lifetime discounts will be more drastic. So instead of like being 25% off, it might be like 35% off or 45 or even 50% off forever if you're a backer. And so you don't have to back more. It's just if collectively we're able to hit our funding goals, then we won't have to charge as much, right? At least we won't charge as much for those who already backed us, So just trying to be and we're trying to be fair. Like, we're taking feedback. If there's something that I say that sounds horrible and I don't realize what I'm saying sounds scammy or something, then please point it out. Send me a message or an email or comment down below, because the whole goal is to be transparent, to make sure we're doing things the right way. And yeah, developing something that everyone's going to enjoy. And that's where it's like, I know a few comments is like, this game's awesome. This is for Assetto Corsa. We collectively have, the ownership has about 2 decades worth of experience developing mods for Assetto Corsa. And then I would say the entire Authentic Simulation team is probably around 3.5 decades, maybe more. Depends if you count like some of our artist contractors and things like that, who don't just create 3D assets though for Assetto Corsa. So it gets a little more iffy in like how to exactly measure that. But traffic here. But yeah, if we do get, we will have a couple of really big stretch goals. One will be $1 million, and one will be $5 million. If we hit the $1 million goal, it's more of I don't want to sit here and try to raise $1 million and be like, what are you doing? Well, we're still making a Assetto Corsa map. Seems kind of messed up if this thing went crazy, which would be awesome if it did. I'm expecting we'll probably raise 50 to maybe 100,000, somewhere in there, and that would be incredible. That would allow us to do so much and fund this project the way we want it to happen. But we also want to account for the fact that this thing might go viral. And if we raise $1 million, then we're going to finish this map up as quickly as we can to the highest standard possible, because we're going to bring in half a dozen artists, maybe more, and we're going to make sure this thing's incredible. We're going to make sure it's going to be huge. We might even, have multiple massive maps once we reach the absolute limits of the Assetto Corsa game engine. Then we'll obviously have to create another server for the next part of Portugal. But that's something, that we'll figure out technically exactly how that'll have to work out. But then we'll also look at taking everything and developing our own game at the end of that. Because if we're getting that much funding from you guys, clearly there is a massive demand for a standalone game, and we actually would have the funding to make it happen. And so that's something that we would do. And then, of course, we hit the 5 million mark. we can start developing it alongside in tandem. And honestly, if we ended up somewhere close to that, we probably would consider it as well. We would just need to look at some contacts we have. Background is like, I know some people want to know, like, if you develop the game, what engine are you going to use? Things like that. Well, that's going to be in a future video. We've reached the end of the road here. But I will say we would be using the Godot engine, and we have some connections over there that have been working on some things that we would consider licensing for the physics engine, but there's also the Chronos physics engine as well that we would look at. And I'll get into more details on that for like ideas, because we've obviously been messing around with developing our own sim racing game. It's just more of a practice than like anything serious. But obviously, if we get serious funding, that would change really rapidly. So I'm gonna do another donut here around this circle. But yeah, this is the Portugal Openworld project. I'm going to continue to push out updates over here. Check out the link in the video description. That's going to be the Authentic Simulation. That's our YouTube channel. And why don't you guys go check that out and subscribe if you can. A lot of the future updates are going to be pushed out over there. We'll have some trailers, some behind the scenes access, and we have a Q&A that's going to happen with the Authentic Simulation team about this project specifically, and I think that's going to be really cool, and that's going to be over on the Authentic Simulation YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook. All those links are down in the video description. Be awesome if you wanted to support us by following us, totally free. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Let me know, of course, ask any questions you want down in the video description or down in the comments of this video, and then of course my email is always available and things like that. So totally want to be open to all of you guys. This is going to be a community funded and supported project, and I want to make sure that we stay totally engaged and totally transparent with all of you. So thanks so much for your support already. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was useful and informative, but most of all, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week.